Hey, what's up everybody? This is Muth24, and today I'll be taking a look at the 1 to 100 scale Master Grade Force Impulse Gundam. Hey everybody, I know it's been quite a while since I did my last Gundam review, but I am kind of glad to be back into the process of doing these. I don't think I'll be doing these Gundam reviews quite as frequently as I did, say, like a year and a half ago, but hopefully get back into the a little bit more regular routine of doing these. I do have some older kits that I want to go back and review, and I'll put something at the end of this video to kind of give you an idea of what those could be and kind of let you guys have some input on which ones I do. But to start us off here with the review of the Master Grade Force Impulse, the box art here, which I mentioned in the unboxing, I really love the box art of this. This is one of my favorites of all the Master Grades that I have, with the Force Impulse with this beam sword and the anti-ship beam sword in the front there, and then just the fact that you got the moon, all these explosions, and it's just a really cool piece for the front of the box. On the side, we have the Force Impulse pose. You got all the marking seals and decals, a pretty cool reenactment of it destroying the Freedom Gundam, and then a showing of the clear parts because this is the 30th anniversary edition. On this side, we have it in the flight mode. There's another shot front and back with the Force Silhouette pack on it. There's the Force Silhouette itself, the figures, and then the top is, as with pretty much every other Gundam kit, just a scaled down version of the front artwork. On the back, actually put this on upside down, it's just a listing of a bunch of the other 30th anniversary kits. I've gone over these in other reviews, so I'm not going to dwindle on this too long. But then you've also got the Victory Gundam Master Grade. Now, as I mentioned, this is the 30th anniversary release, and it does come with a tree of clear parts. Not as many clear parts as with some of the other kits. This is the B plate, so I don't know how well you can see here with the box art in the back, but you've got like some of the leg armor, you've got like these vent pieces that go on the legs, like the lower thigh, you've got the kneecap pieces, you've got the side skirt armor that hold in the armor schneiders, and then you've also got like the sides of the feet there. So, not a ton of clear pieces. I didn't even bother cutting them off the tree because I don't use the clear pieces on my kits, and there's not that many that come with this kit to begin with, but you know, if you're into those, you got some cool pieces that'll show the inner mechanics, at least in the legs, so that's kind of cool. The booklets that come with it, you got these two sheets that are just, typical for the online registration and stuff for the Japanese website. And some of these I think are just because of where I ordered it from. I got this from Hobby Wave, and I got this Gundam Info flyer, which has a little cool thing with some of the lead guns on the top there, and then a bunch of different info about the websites. And maybe this comes, I mean, it's all in Japanese on the lower half of each section, so maybe this comes with the kit normally, and some of the American distributors don't have those. I've also got the Gundam Seed special booklet with the strike on the front there, and it's just talking about the re-release of Seed and the updated versions of the high grades. Then this packaging again, talking about that they're going to be doing a master grade of the Dual Gundam, and I believe they're going to be doing them for the Buster, Blitz, and Aegis as well, which is pretty cool. And then a real grade Skygrasper launcher sword pack for the real grade. And then you've got a little bit there on their release of the real grade Freedom Gundam. The other booklet that I got was a bit on the high grade Gundam Age series, and I'm not going to dwell on this too long, but frankly, I really don't care for many of the designs from Gundam Age. I haven't watched any of the show. I wasn't real thrilled with the early trailer. I'll get to it at some point just because I do want to watch every Gundam series at some point, and really there's only a few designs that I've seen so far. Like the Titus is kind of cool, and the Genoace Custom is kind of interesting. It reminds me of the Unicorn, if it was like a GM Unicorn sort of crossbreed there. But I really can't say that I care much for the Gaffrons or the Zetas. But then again, I haven't seen them in action in the show, so I'm not gonna, judge too much before I've actually seen it in action. But at any rate, this is the actual instruction manual for the Force Impulse. Pretty standard. Got the gray and the blue and the title. Got the Zaft logo there. Open it up. First page. Just kind of an overview of the model, showing which parts are where in the instructions, how to cut off stuff from the trees if you're new to this. And then we start off, well, after the runners, a list of all the parts, we start off with the Core Splendor, which is kind of an interesting place to start. It makes sense, though, given the design of this mobile suit, because you have to put it inside the body, which is the second stage. So normally I would complain about them not starting with the body, but it makes sense for this kit. And then you're going to go to the head, and then to the arms, and so on and so forth. And then in the middle, just like all the other master grades, you've got the Fights On documentary photos, the Core Splendor, the Destruction of the Freedom Gundam, the Infinite Justice battle, the extra backpack piece, which I'll show later on, but you can use that to attach any of the other strike packs, like the IWSP pack, the Ale Strike, Launcher Strike, Sword Strike packs. I would assume the Strike Noir pack would work the same. I can't say for sure because I don't have that kit, but if it connects the same as the other ones, I would imagine it does. And then showing how the Core Splendor folds up, how all of his weapons work, flight mode, shield extending, cockpit opening on the Core Splendor, so on and so forth. Continue with the instructions until you get towards the end, and then there's a bit on the instructions for the sword, which is really easy to put together, and then a fold out on showing how to properly adjust the the silhouette, Force silhouette to attach as the backpack to the Force Impulse. And then of course you've got the posing and the decals, and then the shot of the Force Impulse itself. I have not painted this kit or anything. This is exactly how it looks right out of the box. So for the colors you're going to get, it's sort of this off-white, very light gray color. It's a little bit darker than the white you get on most Gundam kits. There's this lighter blue, then this very light sky blue color for the tips of the shoulders and then the front of the chest piece here. You've got some yellow on the double V-fin and on the chest. You've got the gray all throughout the inside and then for the vents. And you've got red around the feet and on the little jewel on top of the head. As far as the stickers are concerned, you've got the traditional foil ones for the eyes, the camera on the front of the head, and then the camera on the back of the head, which you can't really see there. And then for the rest of them, the sticker sheet that you get is a bunch of the clear stickers. You've got the Zaft logo, Impulse Gundam, bunch of numbers, warning labels and stuff. I didn't put that many on this kit. The only ones I really put on were the Faith logo on the shoulder there, and then there was this one for the DE05 logo on the thigh. I thought that one was kind of cool looking. I also didn't use that many dry transfers. There are quite a few that you get. Most of them have like the Zaft letters, Zodiac Alliance of Freedom Treaty, the MM1 logo, and just a bunch of numbers and letters for the Force silhouette and for the Gundam itself. So for like the shoulder here, I used the Impulse Gundam one. On the tops of either shoulder, I used one Zaft logo and then one, number logo. Some of them on the sides of the feet there, and then also on the shield, I put the Zaft and 05 decals. I only put like, I actually put a few on the Force silhouette. I put the big Zaft logos on the side of either one of these back wings. The side wings I put the, DE05S logo again, and then the same thing, only smaller on that upper wing. And then there's also this POLHM logo on the side of the Force silhouette itself. But as a whole, I didn't use that many decals or stickers on this kit compared to what some of the other ones I've done. As for size comparison, the Master Grade Force Impulse is quite a bit taller than its predecessor, the Strike, and you can see here how much darker the blue on the Strike is than it is on the Force Impulse. But it's not a terribly tall Master Grade, as you can see here next to something, way taller like the new Gundam. The new Gundam's barely fitting in the camera frame there, but you can see he's not huge, but he is bigger than some of the, the old small ones. Like I assume he'd be taller than most of the wing mobile suits and most of the G Gundam ones. In terms of poseability with this kit, the hands, and you do get 2 sets of them, the wrist piece can just kind of rotate all over the place there, so you get some really cool poses, really dynamic angles with holding the anti-ship sword. So this set is actually the just closed fist ones, and they're generally better for holding the sword, although he does hold onto the sword pretty well with the flexible hands. I just prefer to use these just because they're going to keep it in place better, and his arm joints and leg joints are pretty stiff, at least on mine, so it's just easier to move it around and keep the sword in his hands at the same time with these. But as with these ones, the wrists work pretty much the same. You've got the 1 trigger finger, these 3 fingers attached to each other, and then you've got the thumb on a ball joint there, and you can move that all around. As for the arm itself, you can bend here, and the elbow guard is going to kind of move along with it. The upper part of the arm can rotate 360, no problem. This piece just kind of hangs there, and it's just far enough out that it doesn't interfere with the rotation, but it's also close enough that it looks like it's pretty flush with the rest of the arm. The shoulder here actually pops out a little ways, and you can move it down further, which helps for posing with the sword a little bit more. It doesn't really go up, which is a bit of a disappointment, although you can get this hinge on the shoulder armor itself to go up a little bit more, but that doesn't really do a whole lot. But you can also get it to wiggle back and forth just a little bit, not a ton. The head can go up about that far, down quite a ways, but he can really only rotate a little ways, and when he does, the head starts to angle up or down just because of the fact that it's going to hit the collar armor there. So you really can't do a whole lot with the head. As far as the side skirts are concerned, they can go up a little ways, down a little ways. They're just plugged in there so they can wiggle back and forth. And you can also pop them open to get at the armor schneiders, which are inside. The front skirt can go up all the way, and that helps a lot with posing his legs, but they can also wiggle around quite a bit. So you can get them to go out like that far. The back skirt armor does move up and down a bit, not quite as much as the front, just because you got this, the Core Splendor in the way, and the back of the legs aren't going to be needing to move quite as much anyways. The legs can go about that far forward, can go almost as far backwards, and if you move the side skirt armor up as far as it can go, they can go out that far. If you didn't have the side skirts, they could go 180 because of the way that this is constructed. They can also rotate 360 below the hip. The feet can wiggle around. You got this double piston looking joint in there. The foot can also fold in like that for flight mode. Then you can also kind of get it to go back a little bit further if you want them like jumping or something like that. Also, when you move the knee, kind of like what you had in the Strike and many of the newer kits, it's kind of got this double fold there because it's really 2 separate pieces, so it'll automatically move and make it look like it's more extended. And then there's 2 pieces here for the thigh, so it looks like it's, stretching out a little bit more. And you can get pretty much a 180 no problem, and I think it looks pretty nice, and you can adjust the kneecap a little bit there if you need to. Now, the pilot figure is actually in the Core Splendor, so they enter through the back, which is a little non-traditional for the Master Grade line, but you can still open the front of the cockpit here just to see like the entry hatch. And how you're going to go about doing that is you're going to flip this piece up like that, and then you're going to be able to flip this hinge open and then open the lower part there. And I'd recommend doing that with maybe the end of the beam saber, something like that, that sticks into the handle, just that plug end, because you need something small to coax it open a little bit. But once you do, it should look something like this. And I don't know how well you can see, but the interior there is basically just plain gray, although the ridges and stuff do give it a nice look to make it a convincing entry hatch. As for removing the Core Splendor, all you have to do is pull up on the chest piece, and that'll just pop right out, and there's really not much inside of there. It's one thing you kind of have to be careful with when you are posing this guy, is that sometimes the top will just pop off, although the Core Splendor itself does seem to stay in there pretty well. And you can see the front little wing pieces here just kind of slide down that gray bit there. Now when you pull the Core Splendor out, this is what it's going to look like. It's all folded up, and it's really easy to transform. All you have to do is pull the front there, and then pull the nose cone up on its double hinge. Then you're going to take the wings, pull them back, and fold them out. And then these top wings will also fold out. And then you can attach the landing gear to the bottom. You can also pull the cockpit hatch open there. And with the landing gear attached, I'd say the Core Splendor looks pretty nice on its own. But if you want to spruce it up even more, you get two of these missile attachments that go on the bottom of either wing. And even though they're really not angled towards the front quite as well as they probably could be, they still do look pretty cool, and looks like the Core Splendor could actually hold its own against, you know, some other sort of fighter. Now, really, these plugs are what are holding the Force Impulse together, so you can attach those back into the body without the Core Splendor inside of it, and that's what you're going to have to do if you want to put on the backpack attachment here, to put on like the Ailstrike launcher pack or the Sword Striker, so on and so forth. But that'll just plug into the back there. Once that's in, you'll notice there's sort of a rectangular slot there, which will accommodate for the rectangular plug on this end. And once it's in, it does hold very securely, although just because of the way that the Ailstriker pack is shaped, it does make it a little bit more back heavy, but nonetheless it does look pretty good. Though certainly not as good as he looks with his own Force Silhouette pack attached, which is what I'll be covering, along with his weapons and transformation into flight mode, in part 2 of my review. So that wraps up part 1, and I will see you guys back with the second part of my review of Cloud Strife Gundam. See you then, everybody.